The thing. Hello, hello. Hi, Kim. I'm Michelle. You guys are on mute for now. Zoom has like changed some stuff because they've had people like jumping into like college classrooms that are trying to use Zoom. So they're making me like say yes to everybody who wants to come in. And I'm like, okay.
New York City. As
Oh, unmute.
so it's been very challenging. So I would sign up for every one of your workshops, and I find like today, I got to do this because I've been working. I feel like I'm working way too much. Like I feel like the work from home. I'm grateful to God, but I think it's overrated, especially when it's really not the purpose and vision He may have for you. Like I believe that He wants me to work in a certain capacity, but I don't think it's just the Lord's desire for any of us to be worn out and tired. And that's why I've been feeling like really tired, like I'm exhausted. Like our
Yeah.
work hours are 8 to 3:20, and I find myself going to like it's like 6 o'clock and nine. One time I logged out at 9 o'clock. It's just
Hmm.
insane.
Yeah. So tell me, I might have missed this at the very beginning because
All the people that jobs, and you're like, I'm sorry. Oh, wait a minute. Let me fix my chat. I don't know. Wait, I don't know what just happened. All right.
now you're back, I
Can you
think.
hear me? It
Yeah,
might be.
it's cutting in and out a little bit, but yeah,
Sorry. I think
that's
it
good.
also is I have a pretty good internet connection, but I think with everybody working from home and doing a variety of activities, now the internet is starting to like kind of get shaky. So
Yeah,
it's
I
been a
think so
very,
too.
very challenging.
Right. So I might have missed this part at the beginning. So tell me what you like. I know you're working from home now. You weren't before though, before all of this. And so what do you do? Like what was your
I am a licensed social worker in New York. I worked in the school district. Previously, was school based with New York City Public Schools. We were one of the last school districts to close. So, we're now we petitioned to uh, close the schools. A lot of our colleagues, a lot of us have been exposed to COVID-19 as a result of the decision that was made by the mayor here. The governor pretty much was online with closing, but because they took so long, we now have colleagues that are dying, that have died, that have passed
mm,
away. And it just, they just, last night I got an email. We all received an email. I notified my coworkers. I seem to get the things first. I don't know. I guess that's the way God works it out to prepare them because
mhm.
we're tired and we know the parents are tired. We're doing assessments by phone, and we got a notification last night that they've taken our entire spring break.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so they've
Oh,
taken. We're supposed to be off the 9th and the 10th, and then there's resurrect. I call it Resurrection Sunday. We're supposed to have that weekend at least, and now they've taken that, and they're offering I think it's 4 days in your cumulative absence reserve. But what we do at the school district is there's a lot of specifically the school district deals with districts of schools, private, non-public, parochials, um, everything under the sun, out-of-state schools, therapeutic boarding. It's a lot, and the staff is basically doing IEP meetings every day. So
wow.
we were all looking forward to, and even in the schools, they're doing IEP meetings, and they really can't do certain assessments because you need to actually have the child. Like the psychologist really cannot test do a psycho ed by telephone. It's not going to work. So
Right.
I say all that to say, it's frustrating because those were the 2 days. Those are the two highly observed days during the year for most, I think, Christians and non-Christians alike, or you could be of the Jewish faith or whatever. People observe those 2 days, and now they've taken it, and there's probably something behind it. My friend said, well, something must have happened because we were supposed to have those 2 days, and we feel like we're being attacked because the teachers and all the staff stood together and like, you need to close the schools. And you know, we didn't stop until the order came in on March 7th. The schools weren't closed here until, and I live in New Jersey, but New Jersey was even better with closing their schools. And New York City didn't close the schools until March 19th, which means that you have basically exposed all students, staff. It doesn't matter whether it's the parent, the siblings. You don't know. You trust God, of course, but you've actually, because you failed to do this, now you've exposed everybody to something that this asymptomatic stuff. It's just crazy. And I try to keep calm because my godson's mother, she wound up, she's coming home today, and most people when they get this, they become hysterical.
Mhm.
I've got my neighbors who seem, I don't know about your neighbors, but I don't know what's the rating toilet tissue and the paper towels. I can't, I'm like, it's just, I don't even I go in the store sparingly now because there are no masks here. Everybody is
Okay.
basically taking, I mean, my foster parent that I work with, I do early intervention also. I was blessed that she gave me some gloves, but I don't have a mask. Like, so I really don't fear. I'm not around a lot of people anyway, so I just go with God. I'm like, I can't worry about stuff. I have to do what I have to do. But it's just really just to see the state of the world. It makes gives us everything to pray for because we know what the Bible says, and we also know that we have to remain calm. And to see people in this state where they're almost like despairing to the point of where it's scary. And we're not
Right.
supposed to be anxious, but it's scary to watch people with masks. And the other day, they had on masks, they had on gloves, and they're literally, I left the store because I started to get anxious, and I'm not a really normally an anxious person, but they were literally ripping open the boxes to get to the bounty and all of this stuff. It was like insane.
Mm.
It took me
Yeah,
three
that
weeks to
is.
get, yeah, it took me 3 weeks to get to it. I mean, I had toilet tissue here and I had paper towel, but it took me 3 weeks because every time I would go, they would literally clean the store I would go there and the shelves would be empty. They leave the Pepsi Coke, but when it's the paper towel and the toilet tissue. They just were just like, I don't know if they're stockpiling, I don't know what they're doing, but they're just
Right.
every time we go, and they're like, it's like they started to swarm, and that's what made me uncomfortable. So I left. I just took 1 pack of toilet tissue, or like I had like the little 6 pack, and I took 1 pack of the paper towels. I came back later on in the evening when it was kind of like lighter, but I got maybe an extra roll. But I was like, yeah, you guys have really gone bananas. Like, like it's
Right.
not safe. And then
Yeah.
my concern also is, what are we teaching our children that
Right.
when these calamities happen, how are we sharing with our neighbors? If you're rating this, what are you teaching the kids? Because they're watching us.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you, Michelle. I know it's okay. I really do appreciate hearing, especially from New York. I'm in Arizona. I was
Mhm.
actually visiting New York on March 6th, like the very beginning of March.
Mhm.
And when I got there, they had like 2 cases.
Mhm.
And then I left right after they declared the state of emergency on the Saturday or Sunday or something. Yeah, I left shortly after that. So, yeah, we've had some of the same stuff here, definitely. The paper products thing, it really is confusing to me, that piece
Mhm.
of it. Everybody needs some, but it's like, you know,
Yeah,
relax.
like the
But
water
no, I
is
mean, it is.
the water and the water.
Yeah, yeah,
Keep water was going.
yeah. The faucet's gonna keep
Yeah.
working.
Yeah.
Soap is that like people are going crazy over soap, but if everybody buys all the soap, that one person that can't get the soap can't wash their hands, and then they're at risk.
Right,
Right.
right,
And
right.
Tylenol, I went with my friend to get Tylenol for her mother. There was no Tylenol anywhere.
Mm.
That's crazy.
So where are you from, Kim?
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts. Okay. And I'm gonna unmute
Mhm.
Crystal. And where are you from, Crystal? I'm gonna mute people back too as we.
Virginia.
Okay. Okay. I think that's okay. There we go. Now I can. And maybe. Who's that? What's your name? Whoever. It just says iPhone on that one.
That would be myself. Do you hear me now?
I do hear you now. Yes.
I'm sorry. It's Tequila, and I'm from Florida.
Okay, very good. There we are. And Lamar, you say you can't hear. Can you hear now? Or it was connecting to audio there for a while, I noticed. We can't hear you either. Yeah, that's good. She'll go out and back in. Maybe that'll help. Okay. I want to go ahead and get started. I'm going to let Tony in here. So I'm going to go ahead and pray. This is sort of how the time period will go. I'm going to pray for a minute and we will, sorry, I have not had to, oh Lordy, I have not had to do all of this until today. This morning, I had like a coffee with friends and I was like, oh, people are having to enter the password to get in now. We're having to like hit the admit button. And it's because with some college classrooms, Zoom was blocking people, like there were people, they were calling it Zoom bombing, like jumping in and kind of taking over these college classrooms. And so Zoom itself as a platform has now added in a couple extra layers of security, but means while I'm talking here, I have to like hit the admit button for people to come in instead of them just coming and going as they please. So anyway, I want to pray first, and then I want to jump in and kind of talk about the big picture, and then we'll go to some like goal setting and that kind of stuff. And then I do have an offer for you guys at the end, and then I'll stick around after that and chat for as long as you guys want, answer questions or whatever, and go from there. Okay. Did everybody get a chance to get the workbook that I emailed you? Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Lamar, can you hear us now? I have her unmuted. I still don't think she can hear. Oh, maybe I can hear her. Lamar. Okay, I think she can't hear me, but I can hear her. Okay. Father God, we just come before you, Lord, and I ask that you bless each and every one of these women here. I ask that you bless our time together, Lord, that you lead us in the direction you would have us go, Lord. My intention is just to help in whatever way these ladies need, God. As Michelle was saying, we know who holds the future, right? We know you have got us, but it doesn't mean that our emotions aren't real or that there isn't some anxiety and stuff. We know you have it, and so we don't worry in that respect, but we do worry about the people around us, Lord. We love you. We praise you in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay. Let me see if she can. I can hear her now. I'm going to mute her again now. Okay, so I really quickly want to talk about the first few pages in that workbook. Hi, Shalonda. And oh, there she is. I was like off on. So just really quickly, guys, these are unprecedented times that we are living in right now, right? And as women, especially, we have, we're trying to be good wife, mother, sister, friend, church sister, all of these things that we do, as well as our jobs or our businesses or, all of the things that we're doing right now. And it's, quite frankly, it's tough, right? Like it's hard. And so I do want to emphasize as I start talking about this, like, yeah, I'm talking about productivity, but also make sure you give yourself some grace. It's harder when you're not in control of your own time. And so, you know, that kind of throws a wrench into some things. And then if you are completely in control of your own time, that's where I would love to talk about some things to make, you know, set some boundaries and make your life feel a little more manageable as we are going through here. I do not like being distracted by that little admit button. Sorry. So anyway, it's tough. And I want to make sure that we have a decent handle on April as we leave today, and then just chat through, honestly, anything you guys want to chat through. Okay. So the first page of your workbook, mine is up here, is a page that just has a little box on the bottom, and it says, what are the most important things in your life right now? Right? And so you can write those, you can type them in the chat box. If you want to talk, like raise your hand, I can unmute you and you can tell us. Any one of those things are perfectly fine with me. There it is. That
Hello.
page. Yes. Hi, Leticia.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. I don't know why I was having trouble with my computer, but
Yeah, I
I'm
think
here
it's
now.
Zoom. Good, great. I honestly think it's Zoom. I think that there are so many people trying to be on this platform, and I was just telling everybody else, they changed everything this morning. So
Oh,
yeah, like my
yes.
whole thing looks different. I'm having to admit people. If you don't use the link to sign in, you have to enter the password. Like there's just, and all that stuff wasn't true yesterday.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, so it could be them. So
All right.
yeah, so so we're talking really quickly right now about what are the most important things in your life. So we have my relationship with God, family, and health. Does anybody else want to write in the chat box any of that, any of the things that you want to put in there? Health is huge right now, right? Like everybody is, you know, concerned, and that's the whole point of right now, is trying to stay healthy. And Shalonda added her business to that mix. If I am saying your names wrong, let me know. God, family, and career. Yep. And I love that order as well in the things that I'm doing, right? Like this, God first, right? And then family, and then career. And so, or your business or your job, whatever you have going on for that. Okay, so the second page is a balanced life. Yeah, yep, that's the whole goal there, Michelle. Is that I want more of and I want less. So the couple of examples that I put in there, right? If I want more simplicity, then I might have to get rid of and have less stuff, right? Or if I want less clutter on my desk, then I need to have more clear space and organization. And so those two kind of feed off each other, and you can think of them, it's helpful, I think, to think of them, Tony's back, from both directions, okay? So what do you want more of and what do you want less of? And also, in order to get that less thing or that more thing, what do you need to let go of, or what do you need to add in? Okay, so yeah, let's just go ahead and put those in the chat box as well. What do you want more of? What do you want less of? Less clutter and more organization. I love this. I want more peace and money and less of struggle. Yeah. more of a balanced life and less of not completing your task. Less chaos and more peace. And I love these workshops because as we all start putting these things in, right? Like somebody says, oh, I want less clutter. Yeah, me too. I want more peace. Me too. Right? Everybody, they think of things that, so Crystal says, I want less clutter, disorganization, distraction, noise, and junk. And I want more peace, organization, focus, and productivity. Very good. Very good. Less 5-year-old tantrums. We'll just pray for that, Kim. Yeah. I remember when my son was, I think he was more like 2 at this point in time, but you know, that when they're doing that whole like throw themselves on the floor and have a tantrum thing, I'd be like, you might want to move to the carpet. It's softer over there. Just trying to get through. So anyway, okay. And so our third sheet then is the no more list. So rather than I want more and I want less of something, we have I'm done with this thing and I want no more of it. And so we're going to put that in the chat box as well. Some ideas or things that I think of in terms of this is like no more people pleasing, right? No more trying to be everything to everybody. So whatever you guys have on that list. So rather than less and more, I'm D-O-N-E, none. No more. Hi, Debbie, welcome. No more being a doormat. Very good. Very good, Kim. Yep. Sorry. Okay, anybody else? Yes, Crystal, okay. No more anxiety, no more frustration, zero tolerance with accepting excuse and everyone else's problems, right? No more, I love this in all caps, Crystal. Saying yes to everyone, no more ignoring my feelings and emotions for others, and no more hiding behind a mask. I'm done with not seeking a plan and goals. Yeah, okay. Sticking to it, got it. No, we're not done with sticking to the plan and goals. Yeah, yep. Okay, so I love the no more list, you guys. And if you have them, you can keep going. Being a supporting player in my life, yeah, would be the main thing, right? I love the no more list because it sets this boundary that when you put it up in front of you, right, becomes a hard line. And the first step in all of that is like you'll start recognizing when you're doing it, right? You're like, oh yeah, I'm saying yes when I really mean no. Or so we have here, no more making excuses and not accomplishing what I need to when I need to. Very good. Okay. And so I like that it's that like hard boundary, and it helps you, or helps me let my yes be yes and my no be no, right? So John Maxwell says like time management is an oxymoron. We all have exactly the same amount of time. It is truly the only scarce thing on the planet and the only completely equitable thing on the planet. It doesn't matter who you are, you get 24 hours every day, and nobody gets any more and nobody gets any less. So that's all we have, right? So it's we can't get more of it. So there's a built-in scarcity there. And so my mindset was able to change when I went from I don't have time, because that's not true, to, you know what, that's not my priority right now. And it just gave me permission to say, this is my priority and this is what I need to do at this period of time, whatever that is. Okay. So I love the no more list. And I love how I love your guys' ideas here as well. So the other thing too is making sure that as we're talking about accomplishing things, right, that we're not being too hard on ourselves and that we're being realistic with what we're expecting from ourselves. So if we're expecting, or honestly, if other people are expecting and we are allowing, you know, our time to be taken up for 16 hours a day or something ridiculous, then we need to take control of that, right? So the next piece of what I want to talk about is the page that I call the Blessed Essentials. And we're going to love this, but it's true. So the number one killer of productivity is a lack of sleep. So how many of you feel like you always get as much sleep as you need? Rarely, right? And always is a big word, but even like 90% of the time, right? We just don't, and it's we don't prioritize it, and so we feel like we're behind on everything, and so we put sleep off, right, in order to catch up. But in reality, that lack of sleep is making you fall further behind because your brain can't be at its most productive when you are working on the things that you sit down and want to work on. The number two killer of productivity is lack of movement. So, I mean, I say exercise, and I do think that, you know, the 3 or 4 or 5 times of strenuous exercise in a day is, or not in a day, please don't do that every day, in a week is super important. But really, like for productivity purposes, just moving is super important. Okay, we can get caught up in sitting, especially right now, right? We're all trying to work remotely. We're sitting in front of our computers from whatever time in the morning to whatever time in the afternoon, and you know, we stand up to go to the restroom and that's it. Whereas if you were working before in an office or a job, you know that somebody would come by to your desk and talk to you for a minute, right? Or you would get up and walk to use the restroom and talk to 3 people on your way back. And so those social built-in breaks are kind of built into an office type situation, or any situation, honestly, where you have colleagues around you. So now you're trying to work from home, and even when we sit down with other people, we're on Zoom, right? Or so we're sitting in this same place. So Michelle has said her nature is nocturnal. Yeah, that's the other, one of the other pieces I like to look at a lot is, you know, every like productivity guru under the planet says you have to have a morning routine. Your mornings dictate your day, and right. But if you're Michelle, like that doesn't work so much for you, right? So if a morning routine works for you, then you should have a morning routine. If a morning routine doesn't work for you, then we need to work with your personality and who God created you to be, because He definitely didn't create us all the same, right? To create systems that work for you. And Debbie says lack of movement is her biggest concern, but she normally gets enough sleep. Yeah. So, and then the third thing that I put in there for essential for us as Christian women is time with God, right? We all know the day goes 400 times better if we spend some time with Him. And again, I have the same philosophy about that as I do the morning routine. When it works for you, you should put it in, right? And if you're the kind of person, right, you know your personality. If you need to put it at the morning or you'll just put it off, then put it at the morning. But yeah, we're gonna, you know, work with who you are to make those things happen. And so one of the biggest things to do is to not try to make yourself conform to everybody else. You are uniquely and wonderfully made. And there are tips and tricks and systems that will help you, but that doesn't mean that Crystal is the same as Tony, right? Like she might need different things, and that's okay. Okay. As we go into the next part, I want to start talking a little bit about April's goals. And so we have this big picture, right? We're going to keep at the forefront of our mind the things that are important to us and all those essential things that we need. But we also have things we want to get done, right? We were just talking a minute ago about Shalanda's no more making excuses and not accomplishing what I need to when I need to. Like we want to get stuff done. We just want to do it without killing ourselves. And we want to do it without sacrificing our family and sacrificing our faith and not having any fun. I mean, you know, what's life if it's not fun? It should be fun. And it might not be all the time, but overall it should be fun, right? So as we look to our goals for April, we're going to talk a little bit about SMART goals. And I know that most people have heard about and talked about SMART goals. They're harder to write than to understand. They're more difficult to write than they are to understand. So, you know, if they're specific, they typically have a number in them. That's my sort of my litmus test for most of the things. So rather than saying, I want to move more, right? Your SMART goal might be, I want to move at least 40 minutes every day, or 30 minutes every morning and 30 minutes every afternoon, or, you know, however you want to make that, okay? SMART goals are also measurable, which means you can track them, right? You can tick them off. So thank you, Shalanda. So if you want to move, you know, 30 minutes in the morning, when you do it, you know, you've tracked it. It's measurable. You know, yes, I've done that. Or I've only done 20 minutes of what I want to do. So it's measurable. Okay. It is, the word just left me. I should probably look in the right place. It is, why did that leave my brain? I have no idea. It's not going to be on the page I want here. Anyway, attainable. And so I go back and forth with this one all the time with me. Again, we're talking about your personality and how God made you. And so when I like goals that are stretch goals, right? Not so far out there that you can't get to them, but they're stretched. But you also need to keep in mind your personality. So if you're the kind of person that says, I want to do 30 minutes of movement every single day, and one day you only get in 20, right? Are you going to beat yourself up over that 10 minutes? Or are you going to say 20 was better than I was doing before, which was 0, right? So you have to sort of judge for yourself where to set those goals as far as attainable for you based on, so the last thing you want, or maybe it's just, I'm going to catch myself when I start saying, I can't believe I only did 20 minutes today. I didn't make my goal. Well, you still did 20 minutes more than you would have otherwise if you didn't have the goal in front of you, okay? So you might, however that works out. So realistic or relevant for R, and for me, this means, is it the right goal for me right now? There are certain goals that right now, especially like if you're Michelle in New York, you can't do them. You're not allowed, or it's just not feasible right now, okay? So is it the right goal for you right now? I was chatting with a woman who, one of her goals, she wanted to get her desk cleared off and get all her paperwork scanned in and digitized. But through talking to her a little bit, I figured out she meant her desk at work, which sounds silly, but that's what was on her mind, right? She's like, I have that pile over there and I know it's nothing's happened. It's just sitting there. But realistically, like that can't be her goal right now because she can't go there and do it. She's, she's at home. She's on a stay-at-home order, so she can't go there and do it. So it was like top of her mind, but there wasn't anything she could do about it right now. So that goal needed to be put on a shelf, not for never, but for not right now. Okay. And then timely. So each of your goals needs to have like a time set to it. And so like, I want to finish this by April 30th. I want to finish this by December 31st, you know, or within a week, whatever that time period is for you. So I have a space for you to write down 3 of your goals. I would like to see one of them be a personal goal for you. And I would like to see, you know, one of them be work related or business related, or however you go from there. And then the other one is, you know, up to you. So if you guys want, if anybody wants to type their goal into the chat box, or I can take you off mute if you just want to let me know. And we can talk through one or make sure that it is looking like a SMART goal. Then we can do that. See my puppy walk behind me. So Crystal says she wants to lose 15 pounds by September 1st. So it's very specific. It's definitely measurable. It's definitely attainable, and realistic and relevant, and it has a time. So that's a perfect SMART goal, right? Perfect. Is anybody else where we can go forward? Let me know. Okay, while we're waiting on that, if anybody wants to type in, I'll just, oh, wait. I'd like to organize paperwork for my businesses by the end of the month. Okay. I want to get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night. Very good, Michelle. I'll get my house in order by June 1st. Okay, so let's talk through a couple of them. The organized paperwork for my businesses by the end of the month. Can I unmute you? Tekala. Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I unmuted you. So tell me how to say your name.
Tequila.
Tequila, okay, very good. I was like, I heard you say it earlier and then I couldn't when I was reading it, so. All right, very good. So when you say organize your paperwork for your businesses, what does that entail?
I have 3 businesses. I have a preschool, I have a cleaning business, and I also have a transportation company for children. This time, everything that's going on, 2 of them are shut down. My transportation, because we provide private transportation for students to school, and my cleaning business because I'm in Orlando, and prime time for me was spring break time frame and then coming up to the summer months. So right now that I have a lot of downtime, I would like to get all my documents and everything in order before the end of this month.
Perfect. Okay, so if you, by the end of the month, so the next sheet I want to talk about really quickly, you guys, is this one here, right? And so it has your goal. This one is for goal number 1. And then you're going to break it down over here. So Tequila is, so when you break it down, I would say you could break it down into each business for sure. And then is there anything you need to do before you can get started on organizing the paperwork?
Clearing off my desk with all the papers. My home office is filled with papers.
Okay. Yeah. And so are those the papers you're trying to get organized as well that are on your desk, or is it other random papers?
It's business papers and also some personal documents.
Okay. So maybe, so when you break yours down, and you'll have to decide if this works for you or not, but maybe when you're breaking yours down, it entails getting like 4 different bins, one for each business and then one for the other stuff. So that as you take the stuff off your desk, you can like quickly sort, you know, I would say maybe that's the first step, is like sorting it all out through those bins.
Yes.
And then focusing each week on one business at a time. And the reason I say that is because of what your brain, like when your brain is in the mode of already dealing with one system that you have, and I'm sure the system is slightly different for each business. And if it makes sense to divide this up another way, then, you know, by all means, divide it up another way. I'm going to give you sort of my thought process here, which is, so when I used to teach high school math, and when I was teaching math, I, you know, had 180 papers to grade, right? Or tests to grade. And I would literally grade one problem at a time for all 180 of them, because then my brain stayed on one, like it's only looking for one thing. It's only
I got it.
for this particular one answer. So I'd flip through and do all, you know, number 1 for all 180 of them. And then I'd go back and I'd do number 2 for all 180 of them. Because it was like less, my brain automatically was finding what it needs. So for you, for your businesses, right? If you stick with one at a time, your brain will, you know, you're already thinking in that direction. Does that make sense?
It does, because what I'm finding myself doing is I have a to-do list for everything that I need to get completed. I do have it broke down by each section. However, what I'm finding myself doing is I will jump from one to the next, and I haven't fully completed a task before I jump on something else. So I totally agree. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So yeah, that would be one of, I'm gonna remute her. Maybe. Here we are, finding everybody. Okay, so that would be like one of the things that I would say too, because we all do that, right? You're doing something and an email pops up, and every single time you do that, your brain is switching gears. And so if you can keep your brain doing the same thing, then you can get it done super fast and super efficient. When I first started grading that way, it was really amazing. I was completely amazed that with all the flipping papers, like physically, it still took me less time doing it that way than it did doing them each at a time. Every once in a while, you know, I do like the full page because I could keep 3 things in my brain, something like that. Okay. So Crystal said, I feel like I have ADHD when it comes to my to-do list. Yep. Let's see, I missed some stuff. Get your house in order by June 1st, Kim. So think of, you know, think through that in the same way. When you say your house, right, like that's a big, it's a big project or a big idea. So decide, the next piece on that goal setting sheet says, can this all be done by the end of April? And if it can't, right, then break it down further and choose what can be. So depending on what that means for you, for your house, like maybe it's, you know, getting the office and the living room and the, you know, the middle of the house is what I call my public areas. Maybe it's them organized, right? And then like separate them out kind of the same way. Purchase a car by June 1st, close at least 2 real estate deals by June 1st. So Tony, when you're thinking about the 2 real estate deals, you're gonna want to, you know this as a realtor, you're gonna wanna put that in, what do you need to do to make that happen? Like, what do you have control over that creates that outcome? One every day in a regular cleaning routine. Okay, good. So Debbie we're going to remember that when we get to the daily schedule, because you're going to put that on there before you put your work time on there. You're going to decide what hour you want to do that, or what part of the day you want to do that in, and put it on there. Okay. So yeah, that's me too. Yep. I think that's everybody, guys. It's not an uncommon problem to have that squirrel syndrome. I mean, that's why it has a thing, right? Like squirrel, because you're not the only one. You're definitely in good company. And some super successful people still have that, like, feeling like they're pulled in 20 different directions. So in pulling that piece into your life is the reason we want to create the systems we want to create. Not so that you're not doing all your things, because you want to get them all done, but you just want to have some peace while you're doing it. Okay. So once you break down your goal, these 5 weeks are the weeks in the month, right? So April 1st was right here on a Wednesday. We're down here on Saturday. And so, sorry, someone's at my door, somebody's answering it. So those are the weeks. So you're going to take where you broke it down and stick big chunks on the weeks. So we're not going to decide exactly the day you're doing something yet, right? You're just going to say, okay, if I want to finish this by the end of April, then I need to do, so for Kim, like if she really, if she really wants to do like her house by the end of April, right? She needs to put bedrooms on 1 week and kitchen, living room on another week, like however that breaks down for her. Okay. If you're trying to get the paperwork, Tequila for 3 businesses, you have the first part, which is sorting out, like getting everything sorted and in the right place, and then 1 week each for each business, right? So it's just like, it's the big bins on those weeklies. Okay. And then this is the piece I like the most, what I was just talking about. So this page here, you'll notice has a 24-hour time slot in it. And the reason it has 24 hours is because of those things we were talking about before, or if your personality, oh good, Shalonda, I'm glad it's helpful. But how so Michelle, right, so she's like kind of nocturnal. So she's not going to want to put a bunch of stuff here early in the morning where somebody else might. Like if Kim's getting up with a 5-year-old, she's probably up early in the morning. I don't know for sure, but yes, she's like, yes, for sure. Right. So that's why I put all 24 hours there. And then if we look to what we talked about at the very beginning of this hour, which was the things that are super important to us, right? The productivity killers, the sleep, the movement, the time with God, right? Those are the things we're going to put, they're the things we said are essential, we said are important to us right now, right? We're going to put those on the schedule first. Okay, and what this is doing, and I'll just give you my reasoning behind it now, is it is drawing on a property or a principle called Parkinson's Law. And I know when I say Parkinson's Law, a lot of people think like their brain automatically goes to Lou Gehrig's, but it's not that. It's not, right? It's what Parkinson's Law says is your work will expand to take up the amount of time that you give it. Okay, and so the easiest way to see this is by looking at other areas of your life. So, for example, there is a weight loss kind of idea that says if you want to reduce calories, just get a smaller plate, right? You'll put less on it, and you'll automatically reduce the calories that you are taking in. Dave Ramsey's envelope solution for personal finance, right? It's an idea of getting a smaller plate. Every one of those dollars has a designation, right? And otherwise your spending money is just going to go before you pay your rent. Same thing with, there's the book called Profit First, right? Pay yourself first, pay your taxes, and then let your expenses be what's left of your revenue. And because then what happens, right, is you get super creative about how to do more with less. So whether that's money or time, it all kind of works the same. If you are in the health industry, or you are super into exercising, then you know about high intensity interval training. And so that's the same idea, like sprints rather than marathons with some break time in between, okay? So that's the same idea with our time. So if we schedule our sleep, we schedule our movement, we schedule our time with God, we schedule the 1 hour a day, Debbie, that you want there for regular cleaning. And when I go from like literal hours, really when I start getting used to this and you start functioning this way, you go more into a rhythm kind of thing. Like, it's not like I'm cleaning at 8 o'clock. It's like, okay, I'm finishing up what I'm doing here, and then I'm going to do my hour or so of cleaning time. And it just sort of begins to flow together. But like any new habit, right, you start a little more strict at the beginning and go from there. So Parkinson's law, right? We're going to use that to help us. And then there's another, I just sort of alluded to it, talking about rhythms. We have like circadian rhythms we all kind of know about, right? That's our 24-hour rhythms. We have day and then night and then day and then night. And then, right, we have year-long rhythms. So winter, spring, summer, fall, winter, spring. So our day has shorter rhythms in them. I'm going to type this in here. I missed an R. I should be wearing my glasses. I might not miss an R. So ultradian rhythms. And so it's ultra and then dian, D-I-A-N, ultradian. And they're 90 to 120 minutes. And the one that we know that we're most familiar with is our sleep rhythm, right? With a REM, we have parts of REM sleep, and then deep sleep, light sleep, deep sleep, REM sleep. So we're going through this cycle all night long where we have periods of REM sleep. We have the same period kind of rhythm in the daytime, except that we have 90 minutes or so of productive time, and then our brain needs a break for about 20 minutes. And I know that it's like, oh my gosh, I can't take a 20-minute break every 90 minutes. Are you crazy, lady? But really, right, it's not like you need to go take a nap during those 20 minutes, but you do need to let your brain switch gears and do something that's a little less taxing. So I use those 90 minutes to put in some of those other things that you were just talking about. So for Debbie, maybe it's 90 minutes of work productivity and then 20 minutes of going to clean up part of the house, and then 90 minutes of productivity and then 20 more minutes. You know, you do that 3 times and you're hours in. So your brain just needs to switch gears. Same with like movement. You could do 90 minutes of productive time and go take a 20-minute walk real quick. All of those kind of things, like if you can get in that rhythm. The problem then becomes, which Michelle, this might be super relevant for you, when we power through those breaks that our brain needs, it affects the rhythm of our body in general and scientifically, like our brain waves. So that rhythm that your body's in, and so it will affect your sleep because it's pushing that, you know, it's pushing beyond that and not letting your body do kind of what it naturally wants to do. So what happens then, right? We have, I don't know if I can show you guys this here. We have this bigger full day rhythm, and within that we have all these little ones, right? I can't make my hands do that, but anyway, and so that's how our body like keeps track of okay, it's daytime, it's nighttime, it's daytime, it's nighttime. And when we push through those, we just push all of the other rhythms off as well. And so it takes our body, you know, walking out into the sun to realize it's daytime, instead of just kind of going with that rhythm. So anyway, they all kind of affect each other. And so, so what we want, so anyway, okay, let me go back to this. So we're going to get a smaller plate, right, for work. We're going to be super focused and ultra productive in that 90 minutes. And then we're going to take a break, and then we're going to do it again. And I promise you that if you can make it happen, then your productivity will increase instead of decrease. Like, you'll have more productivity with those breaks built in. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. Let me think if there was anything else that I wanted to talk about in all of that. Oh yeah, one more. So also in your 24-hour period, if you can, and if you can't, then you need to probably try to start working towards this, but leave some white space. So an hour or two somewhere in there, maybe an hour in the morning, hour in the evening, where it's planning for the unexpected. So you're not planning anything, right? But because it never fails, something's going to come up. Somebody's going to call a meeting you weren't expecting, right? And then you can shift things around using that white space in your schedule and not feel guilty about it. And then also, if you don't end up having anything unexpected to come up, all of a sudden you have some time and you get to do what you want to with it. So you know, if you want to work on your business more, work on your business more. If you want to, you know, add some more family time in, add some more family time in. But the whole goal, or the whole idea, is to get to the place where you have work time, where you don't feel guilty about not being with your family, and family time where you don't feel guilty about not working. Because for some reason, we do both of those, right? We're like, I should be getting this done. Or so it's the guilt-free work time and the guilt-free family time and the guilt-free fun time, like all the stuff, because you've planned for it. It's 10:10. I want to hear from any of you guys if you have any questions on it, really quickly, or if you wanted to, I guess, just questions on what we've talked about so far, and then we can chat a little bit in a minute on other things. So let's just start there. And you can just unmute yourself if you do. It's fine. Or let me know and I can unmute you.
Hi.
Hi, Tony.
Okay. Hey, ladies. I just want to thank you, you know, for your time, for the information that you've given. And I'm sitting here and I'm listening, and I'm like, you know, these are things that I know I'm supposed to do, you know. But I believe, just like I'm not sure who said it, you know, just like Crystal said, when she begins to do her to-do list, she feels as if she has ADHD, you know. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, like, now, I know the things to do, right? But I'm not doing those things. I just need to do it. And that's my big issue. I can write it down forever in the day. I just don't follow through. You know, I'm just like Crystal, you know, so I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, well, if I need this car and I need to make these things happen, I need to just go ahead and do it.
Yeah. I'm going to mute you real quick here.
So I just thank you for your information. Of course, it's confirmation, you know, and you just let me know this is what you need to do. Period.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
So Tony,
So that's all I wanted to say.
thank you. I appreciate it. And I just went, it was kind of cutting in and out real quick there. So I muted you again really quickly. But I do want to say again, like, if it's not something you're alone in, there's definitely, again, different personality types. for what works for some people with accountability, but accountability is a huge piece of things. And so depending on your personality, there's 4 different personality types that go along with that are how you respond to accountability. And so you kind of need to know that about yourself. And one of them, right, like the rule follower, she responds to both external and internal accountability. Typically, they're not the people who need time management and productivity type stuff because it's sort of ingrained in them. And then there's people who respond to an external accountability. And those people do really, really well if they get an accountability partner or ask somebody very specifically, hey, I want to get this done. Can you hold me accountable to get it done? And then there's another type of person who doesn't respond to external accountability, but really does to internal. Like I said, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to get it done. And it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, right? And then there's the 4th person who doesn't respond to internal or external accountability. And they're the hardest ones, right? To stay on top of what they say they want to do. And so it takes just a little bit more creativity to make that happen. And so you're definitely not alone in that. There's, definitely things you can do. One of them, and I don't know, you could just shake your head yes or no. Do you think that you feel overwhelmed by your to-do list? No? Okay. Because a lot of people, like, they feel overwhelmed by their to-do list and then they just shut it down. And so then they don't look at it and they don't want to get it done. And so there's definitely a psychology behind putting like the 3 main things on your to-do list and then having everything else over here to sort of like slide in as you need it. Yeah, Debbie says she gets overwhelmed with a to-do list for sure. So yeah, a lot of people do. Again, that's not abnormal. One of the reasons I like Trello, Trello, if you guys haven't seen it, it's a task management system. And it's because I can put like a today thing and I can slide cards over in it. And I can leave the rest over here on the side where I don't have to look at them till I'm ready to slide them in there. Yeah, I'm with you there, Debbie. Okay. So really quickly, guys, I just want to let you know, I'm gonna go through this quickly because if you guys want to hang out and chat through anything you guys need as far as trying to structure your day, especially if you're new to working at home right now, and you want to talk through some of our situations aren't nearly as easy as all of this, and so there's intricacies and complications to deal with, and so you might want to talk through that, and I'll hang out after to do that. I do want to let you know that I am beginning a 8-week I call it a life coaching experience, an action taking experience, where we will we'll talk about these bigger things, like the bigger design your life kind of ideas, eliminating distractions, routines and operations management, project management, because really everything in our day can really be taken down to one of those 2 things. Right? Like it's either a project that you're trying to get done or it's the routines that are generally running our day. Those are actually the harder ones to deal with and the most important ones. And then some implementation with it. And so I would love to invite you guys to come along that journey with me. Just so you know, it is the beta of my program. And what that means for you is that in exchange for feedback on the program, it is significantly less expensive than it's going to be the next time around. And so right now, it is going to be only $127 for the full 8 weeks. And it's not a get on, watch a video, and go do it yourself kind of a thing. it is a very much a work with me. We're going to have live trainings every week, Q&As every week, whatever we can do to eliminate the overwhelm. And so I hope so, Shalonda. I'd really, like she said, great price. I think so. When I first found out, I'm like, can I do this for this? I don't know. But I want to design a program that is the best in the nation, right? And in order to do that, I need people's feedback. And so I wanted to do a lower price because I will be asking questions of the women in my group to let me know, hey, this worked for me, this didn't work for me. But it's very like done together. We're better together. So it's a very done together program. So I'm going to give you the link right here if you want it. Again, I'd love to have you. And I haven't looked. The last time I looked though, just before this, I had a few of the early bird slots left, which the first 10 people that enroll get like a free one-on-one hour or session. It's usually 60 to 90 minutes, somewhere in there, to talk through things with me. And so I usually charge more than what I'm charging for the full 8 weeks just for that one session. So but I wanted to give away 10 of those for people. So I would love to have you guys. And like I said, I am happy to stick around here right now and answer questions and talk through anything you want to talk through. Michelle, I don't know if you want to talk through, like, I know we were talking a little bit about your day ahead of time, but whatever you guys want, I'm here. I'm here for you.
I do get up in the morning, but
Mhm.
like I found like, I don't know, it's like, it's ADHD of my coworkers first, I have it. So it's like my energy level is crazy. Like at night, like I'm alert during the day, but I'm more docile, but
Mhm.
I try to get stuff done. I don't probably write a lot of stuff I should write down. If it stays in my head, I have excellent memory. I think I need to change the way I do stuff though. But I think the sleep is a major component because I find myself at night, that is when my brain, just something clicks on the brain and I just go. Like it's like I have to kind of sort of readjust that because then I don't get as much sleep as I need to, and then I'm waking up in the morning like, oh, you know. And I have my
Right.
prayer partner. I do my prayer in the morning. I have a prayer partner, and I've been doing it, but I have to kind of prepare for that also. So I have to restructure the way I'm doing stuff. So I'm balanced and rested, and not. I'm usually not. I try not to be cranky, but I feel like when you're rested, you're less cranky and you
Absolutely.
can focus better.
Yeah. No, and one of the things for you then might be, so I always like to tell people like me, I am a morning person. So I wake up in the morning like ready to go. But by 2 in the afternoon, I'm like a zombie. So I don't schedule exercise or cleaning the house. Like I don't do any of those things in the morning because I want to get up and I want to get to work on the harder part of my day because that's when I have the energy for it. Whereas if I exercise after lunch, then I do better. So the same thing for you. It might be just shifting things where you schedule in, you know, maybe exercise later in the day for you because you have all that energy, or exercise midday and then go to work out, not go to work, but do the things that are tougher to do after that. Like, I don't know. I know you were saying that work seems to have kind of taken over now that you're at home.
Yeah, and then I'm trying to do. I have a business that I'm trying to work, and I think about what my mentor also said to me was not to treat it as a hobby, and it's like I don't get to really work on it, and I don't want it to be a hobby because honestly I would like it to replace what I'm currently doing because I want to be a philanthropist. That's one of my goals. So, and I don't want to keep working for someone else's vision because it's not mine. So just balancing that business, and because the ultimate goal is to, for the current income I'm making, I'm grateful to God for it, to replace that
Mhm.
income with the business income. That's the ultimate, that's the goal. So
Right.
trying to balance the business, how do I structure my day where I can do my business activities? I'm going to incorporating them into the schedule while I'm working, and that's what I think I need help with. Because I've been
Okay.
officially from 2018, but I really have not worked on the business the way I need to.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And so, do you feel like from working from home right now that your normal job, is that the one that's gotten even busier? Or do you feel like it's gotten a little less?
It's gotten busier.
Busier.
Because, yeah, because we don't have the things that I don't have a fax machine. I have to just get emails. Now they have me, I sit in on meetings now and take meeting minutes. So it's just a matter of, my team has at least 3 meetings a day. Maybe
Okay.
one day they get off, so it's probably right, but I need to structure my day a lot differently.
Okay. Yeah, so I would, just try and think through some of the things we talked about and put those things in. When you have like an outside 9 to 5, you have to put those in the hours that you're you're obligated to be with them. But maybe, and like I said, until we can go further into things, I don't know your situation, but sometimes it's just setting those boundaries with them too. Like I can work from here to here because that's what I'm gonna do. Just however, I don't know what you have going that way, but anyway, just boundaries are a tough
Around 8
piece.
to 3:20. Yeah, 8 to 3:20 is my hours, and it's just been so difficult the last 2 weeks. These 2 weeks feel like a month, really,
I
to
know.
try to stay within the designated hours because of the work demands. Or I'm just
Yeah.
gonna have to just do it and just cut off the computer or whatever.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Thank
Kim
you.
asked if you'd try a weighted blanket.
Maybe I will.
It
Yeah.
worked wonders for my daughter. My mom bought her one, and it calms her down so well at night.
Cool. Okay.
Nice. Very good.
I'm like the cat. I have a cat, and it's like the 2 of us are like, shit. It's like I'm out. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Leticia, I noticed that you're not on mute. Did you have something you wanted to say as well?
Oh, no, I have,
Okay.
let me see. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, great. I do have some comments. How can I get those to you just kind of one-on-one apart from the promotion?
Yep. I'm going to put my email address in the chat box right here. It's really easy. It's just heather@heatherrossin.com.
But then once
So-
this is over, how can I?
Do you want to just write it down real quick so you can just email me?
I can do that. Yeah, I can do
Yeah.
that. I think we do that. Okay, I'm ready now.
Okay, it's Heather. It's HEATHER
Uh-huh.
at Heather Rosson, ROSSON, like Nancy.com.
Okay. All right. Yes.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from you. And then, are you in the Facebook group? There's
I am.
it's called, okay, perfect. Because you can always like message me in there too.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so get a hold of me in there. That'll work too. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Sure, of course. Kim, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I have a problem where, like, if I'm cleaning, like, I'll start cleaning one room, and then I'll be like, oh, this belongs in the playroom. So I'll bring it to the playroom, and I'll start cleaning the playroom. And I'm like, why is my shoe in here? So I'll bring my shoe upstairs.
Right.
And then I'll start cleaning, like, but this belongs in her room. And then I'm like, so I know I'm doing, like, all these things, but it looks like 12 tornadoes went off. Or, like, I'll be cleaning the living room, and next thing I know, there's 15 Barbies having a tea party in my living room.
Yeah. How old is your I know you have a 5-year-old. Is that your daughter?
Just turned
or-
5. She's the
Okay.
only one. I don't think I
Okay.
can do it again.
Okay. Yeah, Crystal says she had the same problem. Debbie says, me too. Okay, is it good to know you're not alone?
Yeah.
Whether you have little kids or not. Yeah. So
Like, my
a
mom
couple-
will just be like, you need to clean the house. You need to clean the house. And I'm like, I didn't put the Barbies here. I go, the living room looked great until 15 Barbies decided this
Yeah.
was a beach tea party and they didn't move back. They didn't go back home.
Right.
They stayed on the beach.
Right. Yeah, for sure. It's harder when you have little kids. One of the things that will help you is if while you're in one room, if you can't tell yet, I'm a big proponent of bins, right? Like
I
we're
put
sorting,
everything in bins.
yeah, we're sorting
It's
Debbie's into a bin, we're putting this in a bin. So just set a bin, just a random bin by the door and throw everything that doesn't belong in that room in the bin as you're instead of taking it upstairs or instead of taking
I
it.
started doing that.
Yeah.
And I have a Dollar Tree right up the street from my house.
Mm-hmm.
I go in there for one thing and I've got like 15 bins, 3 laundry baskets.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That when I use, I don't now, but I used to have a 2-story house, and having one at the bottom of the stairs and one at the top of the stairs was like a godsend, right? Like just throw it in the bin, because otherwise I was up and down the stairs 40 times, which might not have been a bad thing. Like maybe I should have kept that going, but it's a movement in up and down the stairs. But yeah. Let's see. Tequila says, also remind your kids everything has a home. So when they're done with it, it should return to the home. If not, it finds a new home.
I've
Yeah.
tried that. My daughter tells
Yeah,
me she
no.
likes hearing me get yelled at by my mother because she's not the only one being spoken to. Like,
Yeah.
oh, she's
Um,
fresh.
Yeah. I have my youngest girl she has 2 older brothers, and she was definitely a strong-willed child.
Yeah, my daughter, we were living with my sister and her 2 boys that are older. My daughter's used to being the only girl and the youngest. She learned how to
right.
take control of everything.
Yeah. I used to tell mine, and it just depends on how you do things, and it's hard with kids to say you should do it this way. I never like to say you should anything, because well, I think the term should has a bunch of shame involved in it. So you could, let's say that you could always give her a time. I used to give my kids a time limit, as far as like, okay, you're not over here actively playing with these Barbies. So in 30 minutes, you need to either be playing with them or they need to be back where they live. Otherwise, they're going in my trash bag that goes in the garage for a month. So
My mother actually did that to me when I was 5.
Yeah.
All my toys were in clear trash bags.
yeah, it works.
Then she tells me, I'm telling Honey, and she's going to yell at you.
Yeah, I know.
And every time I'm like, nope, this is what I'm doing. My mom's like, no. I'm like,
Yeah.
you need to back me up on this.
Right.
This
Yeah.
toy wants to go for a ride in the car. No, it's going to stay home. Oh, no, it's fine. My mom's car looked like a toy box after a week.
Yeah. Yep. And even as teenagers now, my kids, I still fight with them about cleaning their rooms. So at least it doesn't like extend itself out in the rest of the house anymore. I just, I can't micromanage it every day either. Like it's their room, it's where they live. So I just tell them like, for us, it's every Sunday, your room has to be cleaned up, just because otherwise it's like a never ending battle. So anyway, anybody else? Crystal, I see you're unmuted.
I find myself so now working from home, so I'm an educator. So, teaching online, having to advise students via Zoom, having to talk to faculty members, because I'm also an administrator as well. So I find myself talking and meeting, and then I have 2 children, age 4 and 9. And so in addition, trying to homeschool, and then my husband's also an educator. So he's doing live sessions. So I'm like confined to one space. And so I find myself working all the time. So I may start at 9 o'clock in the morning, but I don't finish sometimes till midnight because I have all of these distractions and I'm not getting any work done. But then I'm still
Right.
responsible because I have to get the work done.
Yeah. How do, well, your 4-year-old, I don't know, your 9-year-old probably will do pretty decent doing her or his schoolwork sitting.
Well, yeah, she's
Next to
very,
you with you.
now she's independent. The first week, you
Yeah.
know, she was just kind of like, I don't know what's going on.
Right.
But now she's she cleaned her room, so she's in her own space. I give her a list of things to do. She's fine. And the 4-year-old usually goes to daycare, but because of everything that's going on, if he has like any symptoms, so like sneezing or anything, he has to stay home. But of course, we have pollen everywhere.
Yeah.
So we only made it probably like a week and a half, and then of course he's sneezing. So trying to put him in a space or a box doesn't work. So I'm thinking about, you know, if he can't go to daycare, take him to grandparents' houses, you know, just to get him out of the house.
Yeah.
Like,
That would definitely probably be helpful for you. I'm just trying to think through the, so if your meetings, you know, obviously your work schedule kind of has to revolve around those times, right? Like
Yeah.
those times are set. And so I would say try as much as you can. Some of the things that might help is some of the like paperwork type tasks and things that you have to get done. I find for me, it's the same thing. If I set a time limit, whether that's a Pomodoro session, which is like rather than a 90-minute session, it's 25 minutes and then 5-minute break, right? So a 25-minute super focus session. This would probably only work when your 4-year-old is at the grandparents' house, but you know, it's like a focus on one thing for 25 minutes, and either, depending on how you work best, either complete silence or put on some like jamming music that'll make you work super fast. And so your goal in that 25 minutes is to work as fast as you can, knowing you're gonna like step away from it when the timer goes off at 25 minutes. So
okay.
yeah, I think it kind of, for me, brings in my focus and creates this like, I'm gonna just type as fast as I can, or I'm gonna, whatever it is. Like I said, when I was grading papers, it would be like, you know, how fast can I flip these pages?
Yeah.
And what do you teach?
Nutrition and dietetics.
Okay, at a college level or?
Yes, college level.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So any of those systems that you can create that'll streamline any of that stuff you're doing. So, I mean, I can only speak to when I was, you know, grading math problems. I had a very systematic, things were worth 3 points, you got 3, 2, or 1,
Yeah.
or 1.5, you know, like there was a very specific things, and I knew what they meant. And so I could very quickly, you know, run through them. And there would always be a couple that you have to like slow down and look at a little closer, you know, to decide which area that went in. But, you know, the 3, like 3, 3, 3, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That makes sense.
anything you can systematize
Okay.
should help.
Okay.
Okay. Hopefully that was helpful.
Yes.
Good. Okay. Anybody else? Thank you, Debbie. All right,
This
ladies.
is, hi.
Oh, go
Oh, go ahead.
Hi. Shalonda, go ahead.
This has just been so helpful to me. I think it's just what I needed right now. Because, you know, I've been working on getting my thoughts organized, getting some things in my home and my business organized.
Yeah, good. I'm so glad. That's why, you know, I wanted to do them right now, is just because.
And to me, this is just confirming. I can't hear you. Oh.
Go ahead. Sorry. You're in and out a little bit, Shalonda.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. So it's just, I'm finding out, listening to you and everyone else, I'm finding out exactly what it is I need. And so I haven't done the personality test and all the other things you were talking about. But it's like, I'm looking at this 24-hour thing. I really, and I've never ever done this. I'm the type of person that I just learned this today with you. I need to literally write everything out. I get up in the morning about 4 o'clock, and it happens to start at 4 a.m. So I pray, I read, and do my devotion and all of that in the morning. And then I need to start around 7 o'clock. I need to start writing in what I'm going to be doing at 7. I'm just the type of person, I didn't realize it until today, that I need to write things out like more detailed. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Do I really? Yes, you really need to write it out.
Nice.
Oh my goodness. I'm just amazed at something just as simple as writing it out by hour. It's just helpful for me. And I just, this has been such a blessing for me. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so glad. And yeah, and devotionals, like I think I said earlier that I try not to put like my movement and that kind of stuff at the beginning of my day. My devotionals and my prayer time is one of the things that I'm pretty insistent on being at the beginning of my day, just because it does set the tone for my day. And so I love that you said that. And I also on that one go towards if that's the time where my brain is most engaged, then that's the time I want to be spending with God, because I don't want him having, he doesn't get the leftovers. He gets the first fruits. So, oh, nice. Michelle shopping. I love it. So yes. Very good. I appreciate all of your words of encouragement, Shalonda. I really do. So.
Oh, you're welcome. It's just perfect timing for me. So that's why I probably sound really excited, because I'm very grateful. I had set a goal to work on some personal development during this time that we're shut in and closed in and at home. And so this is just like a breath of fresh air. This is a prayer answer for me. So thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it is a great time. It depends on what you have going on. Like we talked to Michelle, who has like her job, her 9 to 5, which is only 8 to 3:30 or is taking up more of her time. But for many of us, it's taking up less because work's not it's not getting done with people outside of us. And so even if we're working at home, I always work at home, but it's been reduced, for some people. And so it's a great time to get in those. What I'm hopeful for, really, my prayer is that God will use this circumstance, and he will, for the good of those who love him, right? And so we will recognize in this time, we can be really intentional about what we let back into our lives that has been sort of forcibly removed right now, or or just being intentional on how we structure a day from here. And so hopefully I'm super interested to see what the new normal is going to be when all of this is done. And if I don't think, things are different after 9/11 than they were before it. And I think this is going to be some of the same. Like, I think some things are going to be different, and I'm just interested to see what God does with it. So, yeah, that letting things back in. So, earlier when we were chatting, Crystal asked about, I think it was the time commitment for the 8-week program. The training and stuff that we do they'll be fairly short, maybe half an hour or so a week, and then there'll be other things that are optional. So I would say time commitment wise, probably about an hour a week. So not too much that's like there'll be more than that that's available, but the foundation can definitely be set in an hour a week. And then there's the accountability and the group piece to that too. Same as like here, it's amazing how much, especially like-minded Christian women focusing on the same thing. We get ideas from everybody else, right? We get accountability from everybody else. And so just saying into the group of women that'll be part of that program, like, I'm gonna do this, somehow makes it like more of a reality that you'll do it and get it done. So, and hopefully everything else besides the training part is actually working on the stuff you want to work on. So it's creating, more time in your existence and not just taking up another hour a week that nobody has to give. So, but I appreciate it. Okay. Anything else? Okay, well, I'm going to pray for us, and then you guys, again, I'm pretty happy just talking to you. So if we want to do that, we can. If you guys want to go, you can. And I just want each of you to know that I appreciate you, and this has been such a great session. So Father God, I ask that you bless each one of these women, that they feel your arms wrapped around them and they know that you love them. And in the midst of all of this craziness, that it's okay, like, you can handle our emotions. Your shoulders are big enough, God, and we appreciate and love that about you. But we also know, Lord, that you have it all under control, that you will do some amazing things through this journey. And even though they do not feel very blessed or very favored right now, Lord, I know that your servant Stephen, in the book of Acts, when he was stoned, I guarantee you he was not feeling very favored. He was not feeling very blessed, but he was living his life 100% for you, God. And I want to move forward in that direction. I want to do only what you would have me do and say only the things you would have me say. So I love you, Lord. I ask that you shine your light upon these women, and that they go forward in your favor. In Jesus' name, amen. Thanks, you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good,
Thank you
Michelle.
so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Kim. I appreciate it. I was gonna take a. Okay. Good night, Lamar.